And welcome to Respect Games, where we respect games. And as you can see on the screen already, I'm going to be talking about Sonic CrossWorlds. Now, this is a game that I have been anticipating, and as some of you who have listened to the podcast Respect Games, or just know me in person, know that Sonic the Hedgehog was one of the first games, if not the very first game I've ever played in my life. And I've passed that tradition down to my children as well. So I'm excited to talk about this game and just share some of my experience with it in this playtest, and probably the future of the game when it comes out on full release. So I did get my hands on the playtest, like many others who were able to get access to it via Steam and whatnot. But this is just going to be a first-hand recap and understanding of like my perspective and what it felt like playing the game for me. And then not really a review, but more of a personal, like I said, perspective and review about that experience. Now, this was one of the first races I did, and just experiencing something. So this is kind of this final lap here. But the game is very diverse, in my opinion. And I mean diverse in a very interesting way. The maps, they evolve and change as you play throughout each level. As you can see here, you'll see all these different things happening. But the game itself is very unique. You kind of heard me explain to Polo in the most recent podcast episode, where I explained that the game, it has this CrossWorlds, which is in the title, but the CrossWorld perspective is that you're playing on a specific map, and then as you play, whoever's in first place can choose to go to a different world or map, or they can choose between one or two different maps. One would be your basic map, and the other one would be completely random, so you just don't know what you might get out of the grab bag there. In the final lap, though, you get access to different shortcuts or parts of the map that you would not normally have to kind of change how the gameplay may turn out. Now, I will say this, in the regular versus the CPU in this game, it is not as chaotic as you may think, but when you're playing against actual players themselves, PvP, this game gets chaotic, it gets crazy, and the rules they seemingly go out the window. But the very fun aspect of that is that you always feel like there's a chance to come back and win. Even if you're in 12th place, it feels like you're not really that far behind in this game unless you really, really extremely drop the ball somehow or some way. Now this is showing the actual final of a Grand Prix. So this is after you've run your original 3 races across the worlds, right? And the final Grand Prix, which you'll experience, is that you actually play all 3 maps that you played beforehand in the different laps. So your first lap will be the first map that you played, second map you played, and then third map you played, in those orders for the laps. And you get extra points for finishing in first place, so you kind of really cement your lead here. And if someone who was very far behind, or in let's say 3rd place, and it's a very close game between first, second, and third, you get that first place, you could really change the tide of the race and come in, win in general. Now, as a person who had only just recently played, this is literally my first Grand Prix here. The experience that I had was very minimal, and I'm remembering the map as I'm playing. Okay, so this is the map that I played, and these are the turns I had to make, trying to get a grasp on how to play. And the thing is that as a kart racer, it's all straightforward. You will remember everything, and this is the demonstration of the second map. So this is going straight to the second map. I think this one was air-centric. So yeah, you'll jump through this loop and you'll turn into your aircraft form. But as someone who, like I said, this is my first actual Grand Prix, you start to try and memorize or remember what you did on these maps to make it as smooth as possible, and really maintain your lead, or however you may need to make sure you're getting in the best possible position to win. I don't think actually winning this last race is as important if you did really good in every other race. Like if you came in first every other time, you probably don't have much to worry about. But I imagine once you get into a PvP Grand Prix, that this last lap and this last Grand Prix could be absolutely huge, because there's no way you're coming in first every Grand Prix on a PvP basis. There's no way. The game gets a little too chaotic for that. Now, in this gameplay, so you'll see that it does like show some semblance of how you would play Mario Kart, and how their thing, like this is your blue shell effect essentially, right? The blue shell being that it's going to follow the first player and it's going to knock him out. But what's cool about it is that it does target the first player, but it does a shockwave behind the first player, seemingly aiming for everyone that's like right behind them or in that vicinity. Now, as you see, I did not come in first on this final race here, and I'm missing all the speed boost. But because of my placing throughout everything else in this, I did actually still beat my rival, which the rival aspect is really cool in the PvE as well. How the rival works is that as you continue to play, your rival will get better and better, and they will essentially challenge you, and you'll get different rivals. So there is a rival that will just be better than the previous rival, but then there's a rival who will upgrade the rival status, which also gives you more of these tickets that help you upgrade your vehicles. Now this is how you can modify and choose what kind of vehicle you will be riding in. I really like the board. The board is just kind of, it was what I wanted to ride in the first place, and I was very upset in a lot of the trailers where you could not see the board itself. But now that you can actually see the board, you can see how you customize it. I chose the propellers in the back. Now this is me opting for a online race. Now in the online race, it's really cool because you jump into this lobby and you'll see all the other racers here. Now I do believe they intentionally chose to not have the lobby be absolutely huge, but you get to choose the map. Everyone chose this mall here, and this is my very first online race. Now in this race is where I was actually paying attention to how, I'm not gonna say strict this game is, but there is a very big emphasis on contact to barriers or other players, right? So if you bump into other players, you will lose coins. And that could just be because of the class I was playing. Like I was not playing a power class, I'm playing Sonic the Hedgehog, which is all about speed, right? And you can see here the first player was able to choose whether they wanted to go through which world. Now I'm learning how strict it is. Like you can't bump into barriers, you can't bump into other players without losing rings or momentum. And your rings are going to be how you maintain your top speed in general. Now, as you see here, there are two different ways that people are playing. Some people are on the water and I'm in the air, and then I switch down to the water and now we're back to our regular land-based racing. And this was a demonstration to see how easily you can get messed up and drop down to like 11th place in a matter of nowhere. But then certain power-ups shoot you up really fast because the whole race feels very close, especially in PvP. Like there is no huge gaps in terms of like everyone is super far behind or super spread out. You can almost always see first place unless they're just really good. Like I'm pretty sure I could see first place from 7th and 8th place. So you just need one good boost. You need one good item, and you could be there in first place in no time.
Gotta focus next time.
Now this is my next online race. This is, I think, the museum, right? And in this specific race, you'll see there's the dinosaurs, and you'll kind of see the evolution of the map as things progress. Now, I thought this was overall really cool because the idea of how you play on each different map, and I love that the PvP, it offers you more versatility in terms of how your maps are going to be or what you're going to see. Let's see, here you see me again learning that these walls are no joke and you can't just run into them. Now, as this this race builds up, obviously everybody's going to go faster, things are going to get more and more chaotic. And I think that's kind of the emphasis on this game. It is a party racing game, right? And to have a game like this where you go from this relatively docile and basic first lap to an absolutely ridiculous third lap where things just get crazy. You see, that's the CrossWorlds. So we've played this map in the PvE, and things just you can start to get a grasp of how to play this, obviously, in these different parts. And you see me using this truck to the best of my ability now. My racing ability is not great because I'm still learning how to maneuver and how sharp the turns can be. And I'm not gonna say it necessarily is fast, but it does feel faster in the base speed than playing Mario Kart. So if you need a comparison, the 100cc, 150cc, this just feels, and like I said, it could be how it looks and how chaotic it's meant to be. It just feels quite a bit faster. Now this is the final lap, and you'll see how chaotic things get. Right, immediately everyone's throwing everything. You'll get the double item boost. You see the dinosaurs are attacking the ground and just being disruptive. And I'm in 8th place, so I'm trailing everyone. Now, the tricks, obviously, you'll get more of a boost as you go. So 3 tricks, I believe it's the optimal speed boost you can get. You can go beyond that if you're really good, but the best I have done is 3 tricks, but I do believe that is the optimal boost. Now you see that blue item box there actually gives you a special item, which will likely put you at an advantage if you can manage to get it. I've only gotten it on other maps. I have not been able to get it on this one yet. So when I do finally get on this one, I hope it gives me something really cool. But as you can see, it doesn't feel like I'm in the absolute worst place, and they take away the placement right before you get there, so you can't quite see what you finish in because everyone's rushing for it. Now, as the races go on, like I said, these things get really cool. But this is just going to be more races, and here's what it is. I really enjoyed the game, and it felt great to play. I even let my kids play quite a bit, and they had a blast. Now, these are just, I think this is the next 2 or 3 races are just races that I was able to do or complete. And I'm just going to let them run and let you guys watch. And if you enjoy. But this has been King Telliano with RespecGames talking about Sonic CrossWorlds Racing, or Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. Enjoy.